Vale, buenas señores. Voy a continuar. Hostia, espera un momentico. Bueno, voy a continuar un poco al hijo. Al hermoso. Vale. A ver. ¿Cómo estuve todo el día por ahí? Exacto. Vale. Pues venga, vamos a ver dónde estábamos. Voy a jugar un par de horitas. Bueno, yo jugaré como mucho. Igual, 2 horitas. Más. Genial. ¡Au! Miedo. Continuar como Poncio de vicio. Sí. Vale. Uy. Ah, ya me acuerdo, vale. El otro día estamos aquí en el palacio. Descubrimos esta buena señora de oro. Que la prueba estaba sufriendo. Vale.
What? Are you still here?
Una Evia, toda la chiflada que intentaba hacer experimentos con los pobres humanos. Metal. Y bueno, pues nada. Es un poco de historia, ¿viste? ¿Sabéis de qué va? Pero desde el principio. Joder. Hay un spoiler importante. Tío. Nada. Tirolín. No me dejaré nada. Ah, no, pista resuelta. Vale, vale. Vale. Bueno, la ambientación es la polla, la verdad. La repolla. Ah, el orinar ahí público. Bueno. Estoy un poco perdido ahora mismo. A ver. Pistas de desaparición. Democracia en acción. Agua pasada. Vale. Debería ir. Espera. El aljibe.
Hey, you're not thinking about going into the cistern, are you?
Sí, voy, sí.
Contrary little cap at murder, aren't you? Nobody's told you about Hannibal? So, there was this guy called Hannibal, right?
Bueno, sí lo sé porque ya me lo dijo en otro de los bucles.
And hunched over him was something a creature. I know what I saw, alright? But if you... Well,
Vamos, claro que voy.
it's your feud.
Nada más que ahora tengo arma, antes no tenía arma. Esta es el arma. el pobre hombre. La estatua conchuda. Vamos, hombre. No podía dejarme explorar por aquí tranquilamente. Voy a atacar puto. Quedar todo. Leches sin moneda. Estas figuras, no sé, son humanos. ¿Qué? Partes al aire. Bien. Silencio, que vino alguien. Hay que mirar, pero creo que es porque pasan vecinos. A ver. Hombre, dinericos. ¿Cuántos? Para mí. Vamos. Y la verdad que llegué a acercarme, pero mira. Vale. Aquí llega esta... Que viene corriendo como una puta a coger esto. Pero lo tuve que coger como muy rápido. Porque venía otra vez el bicho a sacarme. Y ahí lo agarro. Un poco de mal rollo. Joder. Vale. No. Uf. ¿Tengo que saltar hasta allí o? ¿Cómo? Me voy a matar. Me voy a matar. Voy a guardar. Ah, pues no. Vale, vale. No. Vale. Vamos a hacer superior. Hay un esclavo ahí. Oh. Cautiva. Ajá. Peca. Debe ser la hija esta. Está resuelta, guapa está. Ah, vale. Vale. Vamos primero a mirar por aquí. Está cerrado. Vale. No llores, moza, que ya hemos venido a salvarte. Bueno, por lo menos a soltar.
Who are you? Did he send you?
Soy Poncio Davicio.
You're here. You have to help me escape before that monster comes back.
¡Qué monstruo!
I'm Scintilla. I found a way out through the gate of Horn, but it's locked. So I told him about it, and instead of helping me escape, he locked me up. He wants to keep us all here forever, or until we're turned to gold. He's a monster. You have to let me go so we can kill him and take his key.
No dijo quién era, ¿no?
Sentius. My adoptive father.
Oh my god.
Furies help me. I'll castrate and crucify him. I'm going to take that key from around his neck, even if it means cutting his throat to get it. I'm done caring about the golden rule. I just want out. Help me, and we can escape together. There won't be enough time. Just you and me. What do you say?
De puta madre, la verdad.
There's no time. Wait, did you hear that? He's here. Quick, you have to let me go. It's now or never. What? No, you can't just leave me here. How can you be so heartless? It's no use. You'll never persuade him of anything. I'm telling you, he's a monster. Please. You're making a mistake.
No te preocupes, moza, que volveré. Pero por aquí. ¿Por dónde vine, hombre? ¿Y me mato o qué? ¿Y me tiro? No, no pasa. Pues no. Aún así, no pasa. Ah, pues mira, igual siempre me he tirado. Sí. Lo negro era... el agua. Me va a oír, hombre. Pero primero os voy a contar a su hermanito. Debe saber.
Malleolus isn't receiving visitors at the moment. Her name's Domitius. You want to...
Huh?
Why? Because I am a gladiator. That's why. You want to see me fight? Get in your mouth, fatuous cunners.
Cunt. Gotcha.
When Malleolus wins the election, yeah, this place will change. You won't even want to leave. You'll see.
Dice aquí el fanboy del Malleolus.
Too bad. He's busy. Unless... No. You don't look like you could afford it. I'm glad you asked. See, he's a busy man, and this is an important day. He'll be inside practicing his victory speech for tonight. Left me strict instructions he doesn't want to be disturbed. So if you want to see him, I'll need something valuable in return.
Algo como que...
Dunno. Something good. If you set one foot in that villa without permission, I'll...
Vale, vale. Vamos a... Ave, puto.
Fear is proof of it. What is it, citizen? All right?
Nada. Tú nada. Aquí está. La mal encarada.
Ugh, I wish Horatius would stop letting barbarians in here. What do you want? Oh, you heard about her disappearance? What? Really? I swear. But it's odd. It was only a few months ago that Sentilla's friend Julia let slip she was planning an escape of her own. And yet, Yulia's still here. You should go and speak with her. Find out if she knows anything. She lives in the villa next door.
Julia. Villa next door. ¿Está por aquí dentro eso? Está por ahí. Claro. Está. No. Ah. No.
Citizen.
No.
So you survived the system.
Julia. Ah.
Oh, it's you. Sorry, I'm still a bit out of it. But thanks for trying to help me, I suppose. Was there something you wanted? Lucretia says I'm supposed to rest. As much as I'm grateful that you tried to help me, it's just not safe for me to talk about it. Please, no more questions. The golden rule. That's the least of my worries. The gods may be cruel, but Malleolus and Claudia are far crueler. Please, just leave me alone. I don't want to talk about it. Persistent as Nemesis, aren't you?
Exactly.
I can tell you, but it's a long saga. All right. I'd been here about a week when it dawned on me I'd be trapped here for the rest of my life. I could hardly breathe, and I knew I had to get out somehow. So when my new friend Aurelia offered me a secret way out, I would have done anything.
A golden bow.
And then I learned
Just
her
like
asking
Apollo
price.
and Diana's.
1,000 denarii. She was supposed to be my friend. I told her it would take me years to save up that much. So she suggested I take out a loan from Malleolus. And I did. I had to sign an agreement saying I'd work off the debt over 30 years.
30 años.
But I figured I'd be out of here so soon it wouldn't matter. I paid Aurelia, and she gave me her so-called way out.
Veneno.
Do you want to know what it was? Hemlock. Drink this, she said, and you'll be out of here in no time.
Vamos a ver con la puta esa que por cierto me los quiso cobrar a mí también los 1000 denarios.
She refused.
La madre que la parió.
She pointed to a sign on her tavern saying, "Let the buyer beware." Then she just looked at me with those cruel black eyes and she laughed. She immediately told Malleolus I'd tried to escape without paying him back. Only he didn't seem upset or surprised at all. In fact, he just thanked her. And that's when I realized the two of them had planned the whole thing from the beginning. That's what I said to the magistrate. I went to Sentius and begged for help, but he said the law was clear. I'd signed over my labor for 30 years and there was nothing he could do. I thought about resisting too. But Malleolus said if I didn't submit, I'd break the golden rule.
Vaya por Dios.
And I couldn't be responsible for all those deaths, so... His wife, Claudia, was just as bad. She set me to work on an endless stream of futile,
demeaning tasks. I'd be on my hands and knees, scrubbing the floor clean for hours, only for her to pour slop on it and hiss, "You missed a spot." Those two took everything from me.
La cicuta.
But they forgot my hemlock. I just wanted it to be over. But it seems
Vale.
I brought it on myself. I trusted one of the most callous human beings I've ever met, and tried to swindle the other. I don't know how I could have been so stupid. When I've recovered, I expect their thug Domitius will come for me. He'll escort me back to their villa, and I'll be right back where I started. Only this time, I won't be able to lull myself to sleep at night with the thought of a permanent solution. Honestly, it would have been better if the poison had been allowed to... I doubt it. It seems this is the fate the gods have chosen for me, for trying to escape. At least until someone breaks the golden rule. Maybe it wouldn't be so bad. A lot. But it doesn't matter. I made a suicide pact with Ulpius last night. He's in exactly the same position as I am. Malleolus and Aurelius set the same trap for him a month after they did it to me. He and I are in this together. He's probably already thrown himself from the bluff into Malleolus's villa by now. If so, I'd never be able to live with myself, knowing I broke my promise to him. I doubt you could make it up to the bluff in time. I don't know who you are, or why you seem so determined to help me, but... thank you. Oh. No. I did hear from Ulpius, but I'd been locked in Malleolus's villa for months before she went missing, so... I can't help you, I'm afraid. You mean my life story? Oh, well... Our father found good husbands for my sisters, but I wasn't, cut out for that kind of life. So he found me a job as a scribe for a prominent merchant. It was a good life for a while. Until 7 months ago when the fires came. My colleagues and I worked desperately. We must have had 100 workers passing buckets of water, chanting prayers to Vulcan, but they fell on deaf ears. The fire was relentless and it claimed everything and everyone. Well, almost everyone. My employer told me to grab what valuables I could and flee for the Tiber with the crowds. I remember diving into the river and then... the next thing I knew, I was waking up on the riverbank not far from here. Thank you. But to be honest, sometimes I think dying in that fire might have been a blessing.
Bueno.
Given what?
Estás pesado.
If that's your idea of a joke, it...
Lo conseguí una...
I know what...
Ahora se me enfadó. Me cago en su puta madre, hombre. La llorona esta de los cojones. ¿Una que le salvó la vida? Perra.
Apollo, keep you safe.
No puedo llegar allí. ¿Cómo voy a llegar allí? Por el acueducto. Puede, claro. ¿Qué había? Chao. Cago, mierda.
Citizen.
Wow. Isn't
Vaya,
that a
está aquí
big,
a
long
Aurelia, la
bow?
putorronga.
Oh, hello there, pup. You see, my plan was to give you a little fright, but when I opened it... Partner, yeah,
Citizen.
well...
Puto. Otro.
Name's Rufius. Better watch your step. No idea what you're... What? That was Galerius. Oh, I think I have seen that plaque. Sorry I lied. Can't be too careful these days. Head into the caves behind the theater. Turn right, then right again. Oh, and here.
Joder, de lujo.
Need this key.
Radio Rufius, crack. Sí me gusta.
You didn't get that from me.
Okay.
See you around.
Vale.
Vote for Malleolus. Back again.
Puta.
All right.
Engancharemos. A ver.
You, Sisyphus, attack or pursue the stone.
¿Podré ir por el acueducto? ¿Dónde? Vale. En cada vuelta de bucle. Va. Va, va. Bueno, Rico, ¿qué tal? No, por aquí no es, claro. Vamos para allá. Pasa, sube. De juego, lo que pasa es que no te recomiendo que lo veas desde ahora, tío. Te recomiendo que veas los primeros vídeos, tío, porque es completamente spoilers. Y es completamente de historia, tío. Un juegazo, tío. De investigaciones y eso. Sí. De Roma, Pero es que no te puedo contar gran cosa, más allá que hay unos bucles. Hay unas tareas que hacer. Hay unos entuertos que desfacer. Y entras con una especie de bucle. Pero bueno, supongo que llegarás a ver el tema. Ahora mismo estoy en el momento de investigación. Aún tu vida, hombre. Pero bueno, al principio del juego te encuentra una tía en un río y no eres Roma, Eran en la... De hecho, mira, tengo... A ver, ¿dónde está? Tengo linterna. Me caí en un templo, me metí en un portal y entonces llegamos aquí. Y aquí en este sitio es donde entra en bucle. O sea, en bucle temporal. O sea, cuando pasa una cosa, vas otra vez al portal y vuelves a salir aquí como la primera vez que llegaste, pero con los objetos que tenías y con lo que hayas descubierto, vaya. Pero está bastante guay, la verdad. Y ahí luego hay una trama histórica por el... O sea, histórica mitológica, me refiero. Bueno, pues mira, llegué, Desde el acueducto se iba. Genial. Wow, la polla, tío. Exacto. Siempre con... ¡Uy! ¡Qué susto me dio este! Hay... ¿Cómo se llama? Hay unas estatuas de oro. Y que son personas, tío. Ahí metidas. Está también... Y mira, son estos. Fíjate, esto es un mal ejemplo porque está ahí contra la pared. Espero ver que encuentre una solitaria. Esta, por ejemplo. No, este igual no. ¿Qué podía haber venido por aquí también o? No, no. Queda allá arriba. ¿Viste las putas? Cuando miras para ellas, te miran. Suena el ruido ese de metal. Son unas putas. Pero la primera vez que lo vi me dio un susto también. Pero bueno, en realidad no hacen nada, ¿eh? Lo que en algún estilo, alguna especie de maldición, ¿eh? Puedo entrar en detalles. Hay alguna especie de maldición que provocó esto. Ah, eso es el palacio, joder, aquí estuve. Aquí ya estuve, entré por otro lado. Exacto. Exacto. Algo les ha pasado que... Es lo que tú dices. Que les convierte en estatuas. Estoy yendo para atrás, más que nada, para ver por dónde pollas. Pues me dejas caminar por aquí. O este había otra ruta aparte del acueducto. ¿Qué es esto? Ah, pero está guay, pero eso que lo empiezas a jugar y envicia, tío. Si quieres todo el rato te pica para volver a jugar, para seguir avanzando. Cago a la mar. Mira por dónde se subía, joder. Da igual. La ambientación está de puta madre. Ahora bueno, pues estamos aquí por fuera, pero yo que sé, el templo y todo eso. Para que era aquello que no está cerrado. ¡Uy! No, por ahí ha pasado. ¿Jump? ¿Cómo jump? La polla voy a saltar yo ahí, hombre. Quiere que salte, tío. Saltaré, no, voy a guardar antes de saltar. Está claro. Hola. Ah, este es el obelisco famoso, vale. Hay una misión del obelisco. Que hay que encontrar las 4 placas que imagino que irán aquí. 4 agujeros. ¿Salto o no salto, tío? Mátame. Joder, vaya fallo de seguridad, ¿no? Era un muerto, ¿eh? Bueno, no sé yo si colándome de esta forma. Maleolo este se presenta a las elecciones. Otra de Ulpio, vamos a ver. De Ulpio subió jamás, que Dios te protege. Wow. ¿Cuál dios? ¿Cuál dios querrá que lo proteja? Porque hay también una secta de cristianos por aquí en el juego. Que todavía no los vi, la verdad, pero... Alguno de estos, tío, seguro que es un infiltrado cristiano. Que de aquella época eran bastante putos. se puede tener todo. Golpeó. Joder, cómo vive el hijo puta este aquí, Vale. Seguramente en cuanto me pillen, aunque no lo sé, seguramente si me pillan me salte el bucle. El evento que hace rodar el bucle. A ver. ¿Ir para arriba? O el primero allá. Está de espaldas. Es entera de la fiesta, Estoy aquí por su casa. De paseo. Y no se da ni la vuelta. Todo papanatas. Ah, esa. Está ensayando el discurso. Empiezo a decir thank you, thank you. Y me quedé un poco. ¿Cómo que thank you? Lo que sí les voy a decir, a estos putos guiris de mierda, anglosajones, que los romanos no hablaban inglés, y que la inventación es lo mismo. Poner ahí las arquitecturas, como poner el idioma que hablaban, cabrones. Si, si hay huevos, claro, por supuesto no los hay. Vamos, me chirría más un romano hablando inglés que la linterna casi, ¿viste? O parecido. Muy llorando aquí. ¿El ulpiano este? Hay uno llorando aquí. Vale, no hay nada.
Did you just leap into my villa from the balcony 100 feet above? That was either extremely reckless or impressively clever. Well, why have you risked life and limb to see me?
Le
My
pillé.
name is Marcus Malleolus Gurgis. You seem to have confused me with someone else. You mean my heterochromia?
Vale.
I am guilty of nothing more than having different colored eyes. And I'm hardly the only person with the condition. Alexander the Great had it too, as it happens. I like to think it is simply the way the gods have chosen to mark a natural-born ruler. Nothing more. Well, I am not suffering from any delusions, as today's election will firmly establish. Unlikely, because it simply isn't true. Now, was there something else you wanted? I'm Malleolus, and if it wasn't for this interruption, I'd be practicing my victory speech for the election later today. I'm glad you asked. I'll finally restore freedom to this city, just as I've been promising. These good people have suffered long enough under Servicios' tyranny.
A comer pipas.
By declaring there's no such thing as the Golden Rule. It's a children's fable exploited by Sentius to frighten us into submission. Wait, don't tell me you've fallen victim to that monstrous lie? The person making a claim bears the onus of proving that claim. Can you do that? Can you prove the Golden Rule is real? Nonsense! There's no way you can prove that. If it was real and you'd seen someone break it, then you'd be dead already. What? Oh, I see what's happening here. Another poor, vulnerable soul taken in by Sentius's machinations. He won't get away with this much longer.
Pues era un real engine, ¿eh? O sea, que será el motor que mejor haga el pelo. Pero bueno, no lo tengo a tope, ¿eh? Aún así, bueno, el pelo es un examen pendiente, pero total. Todavía no vi pelo realista. Jodidísimo hacer.
I disagree. I'll be guided by what is best for the city's people, and that means giving them... Surely, you're not one of those people who believes everything you read, as if a lie could be transformed into the truth by the simple act of writing it down. You mean that book next to a golden statue in the theatre? Tell me, how do you know that statue wasn't put there by Sentius himself? You can't know, can you? True, but that is simply because you are mistaken. I'm afraid not. We're stuck down here together, for better or worse. You mean the children's fable exploited by Sentius to scare us all into doing what he wants? Look, if I had a Roman plaque in my possession, I'd be happy to sell it to you, but I don't, so I can't. Are you insane? Why would I withdraw from an election I'm bound to win? Don't talk nonsense. There's no such thing as the gold. How could you possibly know that? Nonsense! This is nonsense! I don't know how you know about my... And now, I'm going to enjoy watching Domitius kill him even more. Now, get out of here! You outstayed your very limited welcome. Get out of my villa.
Hago la diosa y ahora ¿cómo cojones salgo de aquí?
Still here.
I'm not supposed to be in here. Talk, What business could you possibly have with me? My marital affairs are no concern of yours. Thank you very much. An intriguing proposition. Go on. Perhaps you're not as silly as those clothes make you look. What makes you say that? You know, I may have the very thing you're looking for. Some time ago, when he still cared for me, he wrote me a love letter. Only, he used the wrong name. Now, addressing one's wife by the wrong name is not unheard of among philandering Romans. But in this case, the name he got wrong was his own. I confronted him about it, and he stammered through some incoherent response. I let it go, eventually, and yet questions have lingered in the back of my mind ever since. But wait a minute. Why exactly are you helping me? To withdraw. Listen, I may not be Penelope to his Ulysses, but to ruin his plans to become a magistrate? You must think me quite mad. I've heard enough. Get out of here at once. Demetrius, come quickly. We're being...
What's in Coolio Mio?
Vale. Voy a mirar la cueva que decían que estaba detrás del teatro.
Ave.
¡Ave! ¡Moza!
A new face. Ave. And my best. I don't, I'm afraid. I'm quite sure it's the work of the gods. We ask for blessings, for good health, bountiful harvest, military victory, and in return, we offer praise. But here, I find myself reminded of an especially pertinent... Would you like to... Wonderful. It goes like this. Baucis and Philemon were an old married couple living a humble life in a small town. One night, the town gets a visit from a couple of vagrants. They go from door to door, asking for a place to stay the night. Of course, being vagrants, they're turned away sharply from house after house, 1,000 in all, until finally they come to the little cottage where Baucis and Philemon lived. Now the kind old couple had very little to offer, but nevertheless, they invite these strangers into their house and offer them food, wine, and a place to stay. Immediately the guests make themselves at home. They begin gulping down the old couple's wine, so much so that Baucis, the old lady, begins to worry they're going to run out. And then she notices something strange. Her wine pitcher keeps refilling itself, as if by magic, realizing only a select few possess such powers. Says to her husband, Philemon, I think these men are gods in disguise. Immediately the couple begins apologizing for offering such coarse wine, and the vagrants metamorphosize and reveal themselves to be Jupiter, the king of the gods, and Mercury, the trickster god. They confide they didn't mind the meager offerings. They were just pleased that someone in the town offered them hospitality. Then Jupiter says to them, you have passed our test, but everyone else in this city failed, so we are going to destroy this place and everyone in it, except you, who we will grant a wish. So old Baucis and Philemon escape up into the mountains safely, and they receive their wish, which is for eternity together. Meanwhile, Jupiter carries through with his threat and wipes that city off the map. Some say the moral of that story is that we must all honor the sacred rituals of guest friendship, the the reciprocal obligations owed between hosts and guests. But I like to think it's that we should always show compassion for those less fortunate than ourselves. I'm pleased to hear it. It must be completed by dusk. It'll be between Sentius, the incumbent, and Malleolus, the challenger. Why do you ask? All of the male citizens who are willing and able to attend, unless they're running, of course. Well, you're not a citizen yet, so no, I'm afraid not. But if it's any consolation, there are other ways to influence the outcome of an election. By using whatever gifts the gods gave you. Nothing untoward, of course. I'm responsible for announcing it and making sure the procedures are followed. You can, assuming they're eligible and willing to accept the nomination. I like the idea, but I know Galerius well, and his position has always been that he won't run unless Malleolus withdraws. It was only yesterday that he said to me he'd only ever run if it was absolutely necessary to make sure Sentius wasn't re-elected. So, I suppose if you'd like to see Galerius elected magistrate, you'd need to persuade Malleolus to withdraw somehow. I like the idea. As you wish. Certainly. See you again soon, Citizens, it is time. Let us meet to elect our magistrate.
No doy con la puta cueva.
The many shall suffer for the sins of the one.
Do it. Kill me.
Save yourself!
Salve, friend. Mind telling me who you are and why you look like you've just taken on a gladiator and lost?
No me acuerdo de esto, tío.
Oh, sounds serious. I'm listening. Yulia? Oh no. All right, I can do that. Poor Virgil. Poor Rufius too, I guess. All right, got it. All right, let me see. Stop Fabia going in, but send the new arrival to the empty shrine. Understood. I'll go, but once I'm done, I'll need you to tell me how you know all of this.
Vote for Malleolus for a free drink at my tavern. Ah, you're here. I'm so glad you decided to visit. I'm Aurelia, and I hope I'm not being too forward, but the moment I laid eyes on you, I was intrigued. There's a light in your eyes I've never seen before, a certain learning and sophistication.
Ay, ay, echándosela a la cara ya. Una perra.
How dare you? Get away from me, you pig.
Cerberus lifts his triple head and lets out his threefold braying.
Livia, would you stop muttering like Medea over a cauldron? You'll scare away my customers.
They follow their trades, imitating their previous lives, but they are ignorant.
Así que sí, ¿eh? La Christus. Vaya. Cuando la teta. Vale. No hay gran cosa, ¿no? Tratas de cretini.
Hello there, friend. May I say, that is a glorious bow you're carrying. Do you mind if I ask where you acquired it? Are you well, stranger? Have you been out in the sun too long? You seem a little confused. Perhaps you should go and see Lucretia in a clinic. Very well. Another time.
Ah, a new face. Salve, and welcome to a little community. My name's impossible to pronounce for most people, so you can just call me Virgil. I hear we have you to thank for saving Julia's life. I'm glad you... Nice to talk to you.
Greetings, I'm Georgius. It gladdens me to see another foreigner in our midst. We must stick together, you and I. My friend, your words intrigue me more and more. But yes, very well. Ask me what you will. Ah, I knew this day would come. I do not wish to lie to you, my friend, but even discussing this matter is dangerous. Please, let us leave the live coals safely beneath the ash. Very well, but the magistrate would not look kindly upon this, so please keep it to yourself. For several months now, I have been sneaking out at night to worship the gods of my ancestors in the temple of Demeter. Each day, I leave offerings of food in the hope that we may have a bountiful harvest, and yet the next day when I return, the food is missing. The offering, it is symbolic, you see. It is never eaten, so I ask, who or what is devouring the food in this temple? Stranger still. Once I sat in front of my shop like the 100-eyed Argus until dawn to see if I could spot a thief going in. But do you know what I saw? Nothing. Nobody entered. And yet when I went to take a look, my offering was gone. It is bizarre, is it not? When I told my friend Kabash of this at the tavern, he offered to help investigate. He went in, and to my dismay, he was never seen again.
It is the only Greek temple in the city. Head towards the baths, and it is the last building on your right.
I do not think you should pursue this, my friend. It would break my heart to be responsible, but you do not strike me as a kind of person to be deterred by such warnings, so just be careful, I beg you. Hey!
Ah, but... And in a city full of Romans you are asking me? My name is Georgios, yes. But the Romans, they do not care. They hear me they do this all the time. They see us worshipping Zeus, they copy us, but call him Jupiter. They take Hades and call him Pluto. I am flattered that they copy our ideas, but why must they change the names? Do they want credit for making it all up? At first, I pull my hair out. After a while, I give up, and I become Georgios the Roman. I accept the world is Roman now. Plus, I have no hair left to pull. But my point is this. If you want to know who stole an old Greek name, look no further than the sticky-fingered Romans. The plague you seek was pilfered from a collection of old Greek relics by none other than Dully. He cannot help it. Like a typical Roman, he likes shiny things, especially those that once belonged to my people. And besides, it makes him happy. So I say, let him keep it. I believe he still has it with him, in his cell, just opposite the Temple of Demeter. I hope that our paths cross again soon.
Creo que ya había viajado. No me acuerdo que había. Ah, ya me acuerdo. Ya me acuerdo. Señores, que me hacía preguntas. Que dos.
Ah, a visitor. Welcome, welcome. May I ask your name?
Manolín.
It is best you do not know my name, for merely to speak of my existence in the city above could bring destruction on you all. Tell me, what brings you all the way down? Ah, yes.
Okay, Rico.
That cursed thing. I know I will tell you everything I know, but first, a request. I have been living down here alone for many years, with nobody to talk to but myself. The one thing I long for above all else before I die is a good philosophical argument with somebody astute. I'm hoping that person is you. Let us find out with this simple question. Have you deduced the name of the god responsible for the Golden Rule?
Perdón, que estaba mirando.
I see you are indeed.
El de los limpios sale en otro, Galerio. Sí que parece limpio, macho.
Their time in the sun is over. Now, will you join me in a friendly Socratic dialogue? Wonderful. Then let me begin with a question. Would you say you know the difference between right and wrong? And to what extent in every situation? So, you're not entirely confident. That is quite sensible. Indeed, I'm reminded of something Socrates once said. To paraphrase, better to know that you know nothing than to know nothing and think that you know. It is because knowledgeable people have learned enough to know they know very little in the broader scheme of things. You see, out there in the world, being uncertain about right and wrong was acceptable because our mistakes rarely had consequences. So we would tell lies and bend rules and turn a blind eye and rationalize, and yet still find a way to think of ourselves as good people. But under the golden rule, morality matters. The slightest wrongdoing could result in a mass execution. So to navigate this maze, we would have to be certain about the difference between right and wrong. Wouldn't you agree? That is an excellent question, and it leads directly to my next line of inquiry. So let me ask you this. Is there one system of morality which is always perfectly correct, which you could follow in every situation and always do the right thing? How can that be? Since they all have differences, it follows that in some cases they would offer different conclusions about what is right and wrong. If there is a correct moral code, then wouldn't it follow that only one can be the correct one? Ah, you know, I think you'd find an ally in Herodotus, a scribe from among my people who lived some 400 years ago. He told the story of a man named Darius, whose curiosity was piqued when he learned that a certain tribe had the practice of eating their dead. He asked some Greeks who burnt their dead, "What would it take for you to eat your dead?" Aghast, they replied, "Nothing." Then he asked the tribe who ate their dead, "What would it take for you to burn your dead?" "Nothing," they replied, equally aghast. From this, Herodotus concluded that custom is king, that right and wrong are merely local ideas which do not survive the journey from one tribe to another. I take it you're in agreement? Then let me ask you this. If you visited a tribe where they ate each other, copulated with the dead and drank wine from cups made out of human skulls, would you still maintain that within such a tribe there is nothing wrong with such conduct? And that's a credit to you. It is the mark of a civilized person to change their position when presented with a superior argument. My point is this. I don't think anyone alive truly knows any hard and fast rules about right and wrong. Surely you would agree there are circumstances where an exception may be made, such as where it is necessary for self-defense or to prevent a greater evil. For any rule, you can imagine there are countless situations in which that rule may be suspended, and those situations are impossible to codify. If there is one thing I have observed about rules, it is that virtuous people do not need them, and evil people will always find a way around them. And so we must accept our limitations, and the sad truth that no human society will ever achieve the utopia for which it strives.
Totalmente.
In mathematics, we would call it an asymptote,
a line that can be approached but never reached. Because the only way to create a utopia is with the ever-present threat of force, such as the Golden Rule. This
Golden Rule.
No other is the root from which a tyrant springs when he first appears as a protector. And life under tyranny is no utopia at all. I admit, I am talking a lot. Forgive me. I'm just excited to have company. In any case, thank you for humoring an old man. I would be happy to answer your questions. You mean, how did I end up living alone in this cave with nothing but these relics of the past for company? It's a long story. I was a quarrelsome young man. At 19, I left Corinth for Rome to study rhetoric at one of her finest academies, so I could argue more forcefully. Back then, I used to enjoy verbally sparring with everyone I could, and I was good. One night, I found myself in a tavern in an argument with a drunken mercenary. It became heated, he drew a gladius, and I won the argument, but lost my life. I woke up on the banks of the Styx at a campfire opposite Karen. Of course, I tried to persuade her to let me return, but even with all my skill, I failed. I settled in, made friends, and learned what I could, quickly realizing our little community faced certain death under the Golden Rule. So I began looking for a place to hide underground. Fortunately, I found this place waiting for me. You see, I was not the first to take refuge here. I returned to my friends above, persuaded them to join me, and 12 of us descended for the last time to live out our days hidden from Hades' tyranny. They are one and the same. The Romans call him Pluto. But long before that, my people called him Hades. My generation was wiped out, turned to gold, many years ago. My friends and I were able to avoid the same fate by hiding down here. I think it's safest to assume that if I was to return, Hades would realize that his furies hadn't finished the job, and he'd send them after me again. I fear that if you were to utter my name in the city, even by mistake, that Hades would hear you and know I am still alive. I'm afraid I am the only one left. There were 12 of us in the beginning.
A ver si van a ser dos discípulos de Cristo, la Virgen.
Some from malnutrition, others from madness and despair. It has been.
Aunque bueno, no creo que.
Before my unexpected visit from Kabash some weeks ago, I'd not seen another person in many, many years. Living in darkness is not without its challenges. The first challenge is diet. Fortunately, I found that eating fresh fish provides. And sometimes, when there are Greek people living up above, I surface at night and salvage the offerings they've left in the temple of Demeter. The greater challenge is the isolation. So I like to imagine arguments where I argue both sides.
Discute consigo mismo, pero de la parte buena. Inventándose las dos argumentaciones. Está de puta madre.
As you wish. If I did. Did we not discuss it at length already? Oh, I see. You're toying with me. Ha! You seek the plaque bearing the Egyptian inscription. It is a cursed object, and I would be happy to give it to you if Kabash had already taken it. I will tell you, but you may find him hostile. To prepare for very few know this, but before the Romans came to this city, it was once entirely Greek. The architecture, the temples, and the people. When the Romans came, in typical fashion, they claimed it as their own, built over everything that could be built over, and renamed the things that could not.
Thus, the Shrine of Persephone became the Shrine of Proserpina. And when they found an obelisk bearing the name Hades, they tore it off and replaced it with Pluto instead. And the city's dwindling Greek residents, witnessing this compulsive Roman conquest, decided to preserve what they could of their heritage. They gathered their art and valuables, secreted them away through the Temple of Demeter, and hid them here, out of reach of the Romans. I'm getting to that. You see, it was among these old Greek relics that I found the thing you seek. An even older plaque bearing an Egyptian inscription. We had no idea until years later when the first of my friends began to die. As a result of their deaths, we began to dig catacombs branching off from this cavern to lay them to rest. We extended the tunnel so far that we accidentally discovered another, an even older tunnel, which somebody had gone to great lengths to keep hidden. Suddenly it made sense why there was an out-of-place Egyptian plaque among our people's possessions. You see, we proud Greeks had thought the Romans beasts for stealing and corrupting our heritage. But it turns out this game has been going on much longer than any of us imagined. I think it is best you head through the catacombs and follow Kabash's trail. There are certain things you must see for yourself. Take this key. You'll need it to open the gate.
Vale.
I enjoyed our chat, but please...
Messi. ¿Cuándo te he fallado yo, viejo? Ya que estamos aquí, iremos, ¿no?
Ah, you've returned.
No, hombre. Ahora, si estuve con un viejo que me contó muchas cosas interesantes ahí. Es el que te roba la comida, del templo. Catacombs. Vaya. A ver qué es lo que hay aquí. Un amigo del filósofo. Qué buenas criptas, Otro amigo del filósofo. Otro amigo del... Sí, no, este no debe ser amigo de él, mira. No lo marca como tal. Debería marcarlo de alguna manera. Un hijo de puto. Un hijo de puta para el filósofo. El filósofo lo quería a veces. Mira esto. Dios, ¿a dónde me está llevando? Es catacomb. Igual tengo que hacer ahora un pause. No para el directo, pero pedir a cena. Que vamos a pedir algo para cenar. Pero bueno. ¿Qué? Enrollar las de Skyrim, sí. Oh, ya sé por qué. No te preocupes, hombre, bebé. Vale, hay los hombres mono. No, hay hombres que no se sabe muy bien por qué. Están como con cachos del cubrimiento ese de oro quitado y pueden andar y están subiendo. Y te atacan para que los maten. Una especie de zombie. Pero con cachos de oro. Una cosa de locos. No sé por qué razón. Nada. Lo buscan mucho estos, ¿Por qué rugen tanto? ¡Uy! Se ve tú. Hola, hombre. Pero acostumbras a meterse una patada ahí para que te joda. Para que sea como más humillación, ¿verdad? La placa hit. Freedom por explicar no solo. Vaya. Juego de mesa egipcio. Joder. Que él se mueve, parece, ¿no? Vamos a mover más.
¡Ay! No me des miedo, hombre. No debes hacerlo.
Toma, perra. Están camuflados los de las 1000 putas. Ahora ya lo veo un poco mejor. No, estos están fuera de mi vista, güey. Patadón ahí. ¿No le di? Vale, sí, pero esa no debe ser... Vale, nada. Uy, Anubis. Anubis. Ah, es un egipcio, cabas. ¡Claro! Ahora ya tiene sentido, todo tiene sentido. Soy Ponzo y Odavicio.
I am Kabash. And let me guess. Another Greco-Roman come to loot and plunder the resting place of my ancestors, Trousers, boots, curious hair. No, I suppose you do not. Then what do you want? To what end? That is welcome news. You really are not Greek or Roman, are you?
Seguramente le
I
haya
was
dado.
planning to return it myself, but for now, I must remain. Here, take it, and restore the honor of Osiris. Now, as for the other plaque. Indeed, I have it right here. I stumbled across a collection of dusty curiosities while searching for a place to hide from the hungry children of Amit, and there it was.
Amit. ¿Me la das?
You may not. In fact, I am about to destroy it.
Hombre, no.
Because it speaks a treacherous, blasphemous lie. I will tell you, but first, do you know what this place is? Indeed, and I see you know our history. This is the Duat. See what has become of it. I have been down here for weeks, piecing together its story, and here is what I have learned. As Egypt declined and the Greeks had their turn to flourish, their souls came here in great numbers. But instead of adopting our ways, they copied and corrupted them. When they found the obelisk bearing the name Osiris, the true god of the underworld, they desecrated it, removing his name and replacing it with Hades. Even the ferryman of the dead, known to my people long before as Kerti, they renamed to Keron. As if that desecration was not enough, they built over this place, using it as the foundation for their own underworld, so that ours was forgotten. My only solace is that the Greeks then suffered the same fate when the Romans rose to power, renaming Hades to Pluto, and the cycle began anew. It is inscribed with a script I do not recognize, but it is ancient, almost as if it is older than the plaque bearing Osiris's name. But if that is so, it would imply the gods of Egypt are mere imitations too, copied and corrupted from an ancient people who prospered even before us. And that my people did to them what the Greeks and Romans did to us. But this, I cannot accept. I sense a deception. Perhaps it is the work of Set, the usurper, seeking to undermine Osiris once more. You will never know. This work of sacrilege must be destroyed, thrown into the black abyss below in Osiris's name. You are too late. It is done. You would plunge into the depths of the Duat with no way back up. Madness. If it will help you to see reason, then ask. I am from Rakotis, which you may know as Alexandria, the name of the city the Greeks built over it. I was a fisherman, like my father before me. Since the Romans had taken over from the Greeks, I took the opportunity to learn Latin and eventually traveled to Rome. When the fires broke out last year, I tried to help. I gathered terrified locals into my boat and led many of them to safety farther along the Tiber. On my 7th trip, a passenger demanded I wait for his brother. But we were full to almost sinking, and smoke was all around us. I told him his brother would have to save himself, and he tried to bribe me by placing a coin into my hand. When I refused, he drew a dagger and thrust it between my ribs. I awoke on the banks of the river to a stranger wearing a ram headdress. He said his name was Kirti, and at the time, I simply thought him odd. It did not dawn on me until much later that he was the Kirti, the ram-headed ferryman described in the Book of the Dead. This is where I belong, as caretaker of the memories of my people. If our ways are to be remembered, it falls to me. I think if someone is to break the golden rule, it will not be me, for I try to live as I always have by the command of the goddess Ma'at. Do to the doer to make him do. As for the punishment that will come from it, I finally understand why it has long been said among my people that gold is the skin of the gods.
Ma'at Mina.
I do not know, What could possibly lie beneath the underworld? Perhaps it is infinite darkness. Perhaps it is the lair of Amit, the devourer.
La devoradora de almas, Igual hoy está de humor y nos devora otra cosa.
To venture down there. Is everyone so contrary where you are from? Good. Big way.
Sí, madre mía.
You would plunge in.
El inframundo egipcio, vale, como no tenía ya bastante mierda. Ahí está el Caronte. No sé cómo dijo. No sé cómo. Querido, no sé cómo lo llamó.
How is it possible to feel watched at every moment?
Yeah. Hola, guapato. Saca su feria, Canal. Oh. Yo lo siento, no es que tenga miedo, pero voy a hacer la linterna, no os moleste. Molestia. Ay. Curioso. Barricada. Me parece que fue un poco saltado, Fue un poquito saltado. Un poquito. Placa de latón corroída. La placa de... Oh.
When I told you that you would not find a way back up,
Puta madre,
that was
traidor.
not a prediction. That was a promise. You will die here. Do not be a fool. I have the higher ground. Ha, good. I welcome it. You see, the philosopher told me that each time it breaks, Osiris bellows with rage, and his voice shakes the very foundations of the earth. I can only hope one more tremor will lay waste to this fragile place once and for all, and you along with it.
The many shall suffer for the sins of the one.
Me mató, me cago en Dios. Y no sé cuándo cojones guardé la última vez. No me pueden matar. Bueno, anda. Hay un...
When I told you that you do not...
The many shall suffer for the sins of the one.
Ah, si no estaba el pavo. Esto es lo que genera el ciclo, tío. Cuando se comete un delito de sangre, de robo, lo que sea. Esto todos lados. Vale. Sí, pero ¿cómo salgo de aquí? Ponía al cabas esto, ¿no? ¿Cómo se acaba? ¿Qué pasa? ¿No me deja entrar ahora? Solo que me va a dejar entrar por mis huevos morenos. Estaba aquí el cabrón, ya no está. Puto. Ah, mira, ahora está abierto esto. Antes no estaba abierto. Genial. ¡Me mato! Uy. Oye, qué buen arquero era él, ¿eh? ¿Hasta dónde antes, tío? Entonces... Hostia, le rebota la flecha, tú. Uy, 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 no sé por dónde pollas hay que ir, ¿eh? Espera, voy a explotar por aquí, a ver. Ah, ya estoy encaminado. No está el filósofo. ¿Dónde estará? Vale. Ahora sí que es maricón el último.
Save yourselves!
Dime. Y para el ojete de gusano este. Venga. Voy a aprovechar para pedir la cena.
Salve, friend. Mind telling me who you are and what you're doing with that bow on your back?
Este sí que ya es Mr. Proper de verdad. Vale.
Oh, sounds serious. I'm listening.
Bueno, de mano se me ocurre esta
Poor Virgil. Poor Rufy.
y esta.
Yulia.
Pero esta otra la voy a dejar tranquila
I'll go.
porque voy a intentar hablar con el asesino. El asesino... Bueno, es que claro,
You,
yo sé lo que...
Tantalus, cannot
Confíen en
catch
mí.
the drops of...
Help! You have... Are you daft or... Thank you. I have to... What?
Ahí está, el asesino.
Stop right there. I'm looking for Tiberius Quinctius Crispus, otherwise known as Quinctius. Do you know where he is?
Yes.
Thank you. For your service to the Empire, I'll let you live.
¿Lo matará? ¿O no? Ya está, aquí no, ya está yo. Ah, qué asco. Qué asco. Es el váter público para cagar ahí. Y coño, y si me con el palo esponja este, todos a la vez. No sé qué. ¿A qué se refiere la buena?
The many shall suffer
Ya lo
for the
mato.
sins of the one.
Me cago en la hostia. No sé. Vaya mierdas. No creo que me haya servido para nada eso, la verdad. Uy. No, que nos agarró. Me cago en su puta madre. Bueno, anda, no morir. Joder. ¿Estaré me ha ido? Igual no. No, fue un mal planteamiento. Fue un malísimo planteamiento.
Salve. Oh. Yulia. All right, then.
Vale. Pues que me haga las tareillas. Pulpio,
You, Sisyphus, attack or pursue the stone that always returns.
Ay, mamina.
And I'll take care of him. Just go and hide.
Hello? Hello? Have we met before? Do you like it? It's shiny, innit? It makes me happy just looking at it. But if I gave it to you, then I wouldn't have it anymore, and I'd be sad.
Oh.
But well, if you get me out of here, then I wouldn't need it anymore because I'd already be happy.
Todos
Then
happy.
you could have it, and you'd be
Todos
happy too.
felices.
Like Galerius. He's nice.
Exactly.
I like Galerius. He made me a doll and everything.
Porque Galerius es un chaval. Un buen chaval, hombre. Un paisano. Como no lo hay. Madre mía, ¿qué ha pasado ahí? Ay.
I don't think he likes me.
Hijo puta, ¿qué va?
Yeah, Galerius will let me out. Then you can have my plaque, and everyone will be happy.
A ver.
You're going to let me out of here? Really?
Está un poco taradín este hombre también, ¿eh? O sea, que había a quien habrá salido. El padre o la madre. Pero bueno.
Please. I hate it here. It makes me very sad. You're mean. I don't like you.
Lo bueno es que realmente aquí tampoco hay... ¿Cómo se dice? Porque como hay bucle. Si alguien se enfada contigo, como un pobre hombre que se acaba de enfadar contigo, la siguiente ronda ya... Que se amigue. Ya arreando, güey. Pero bueno. Ay, ayer empecé a ver la segunda temporada de The Witcher, tío. Me cago en la puta, no me acordaba de todo. Estoy haciendo memoria de las cosas. Es una basura esto de ir esperando la serie. Andar haciendo memoria, a ver si me acuerdo. Y si no me acuerdo, pues mira, queda la buena mental, ¿viste? Porque no pienso volver a ver la primera temporada. Como ya está. Cuando salga la tercera veo la primera y la segunda, ¿no? Y cuando salga la... Por Dios. Vale. ¿Que la robo? ¿Podré? No, porque está ahí en casa del coño. Mira, ese estruendo que sonó. Si estabas viendo ahora hace 5 minutos la otra intentona que hice, el estruendo ese que cayó fue esto. Y aquí se murió este hombre. Este hombre que le dije... Puedes decir que vaya aquí a buscar al que está buscando y le cae la cosa encima. O puedes decir que lo... Yo no vine yo, vino el calvo. Está muy bien, tanto. ¿Este quién es? Ah,
Shiny.
vale.
Salve and welcome. Need something? Oh, there's not much to tell. I suppose my pa had just arranged a husband for me. A fisherman's son. I was about to meet him for the first time. I spent the next week in bed. Pa paid priests to make offerings to Asclepius, a white rooster, then a goat. But not in the end. They decided after about a day in a carriage on the Appian Way, I was getting worse, not better. I remember closing my eyes for a bit, and I guess I must have fell asleep, because when I opened them again, I was in a... I suppose the driver took off with his fee and left me for dead. Can't say I blame him. I wouldn't have wanted to catch what I had either. Anyway, I went searching for help.
Vale.
It's nice of you to say, but you... What? You've been here a few moments and you're desperate to get out already? Why not give the place a chance before you try to leave? Good people here. Galerius works hard on the farm so I can put food...
Mira, tío, cómo se ve.
And Lucretia tries to keep us healthy. My friend Georgius is always mending our clothes. And Virgil makes sure these old walls don't fall down around us. Well, he does his best. I'm just saying, there are worse places you could live out your day.
Ay, qué feo se ve, tío. El corte. La línea vertical que hace la esquina esta de esta columna que tiene detrás la señora, tío. En el otro lado no se nota, pero aquí que hay una cara y otra cara, se ve una raya vertical ahí horrorosa.
Well, I can tell from your funny accent you're not from around here, but that doesn't mean you don't belong, does it?
Touché.
Oh, I try not to worry about it. I mean, if people are nice to each other, we won't have anything to worry about, will we?
Okay.
Thanks. And I like your teeth. They're so white. And your clothes. Oh, I bet my friend Georgius would like to get a look at you. And I'm sure he'd love to chatter about the golden rule with you too. He'll be just across the forum in his shop. All right. Thanks again for taking care of our problem. I won't forget it.
Vale. Esta de momento no me deja influir en su voto.
I'm Georgius. My... I hope that our...
No hay nada.
Welcome. Feeling
A ver.
alright? That's a shame. Thank...
Nada nuevo.
Sorry, I'm still a bit out of it. Was there... Our priestess at Gratia once told me it's the god's way of creating a city without sin. But if that's the case, then whichever god is responsible for it, didn't think it through. I mean, all it really does is make bad people better at hiding their sins. And good people too frightened to stand up for themselves. I've seen Malleolus, Claudia, and Domitius make grown men cry. Romans. They've never physically hurt anyone.
Yeah.
But the point is, they don't have to. They've got people running scared because everyone knows. Really? Then I hope. All right.
Vale. Bueno, esto puedo intentar esto de último.
May Apollo keep you safe.
Sí, señor.
Citizen.
Confío. Nada, aquí todavía no me dieron la llave.
Isn't this temple imposing? I'm glad somebody... Salve, friend.
Moza.
I'm Octavia. Welcome to life under the golden rule. It's a ghastly thing, is it not? How are you faring so far? All right, well, it was lovely to meet you. I look forward to getting to know you better over the coming months. And if you ever...
I can't believe this is how it ends.
No, que se va a suicidar.
No. Orpheus, what are you doing? Get back from there. If you lose your balance, you'll fall.
That's the idea.
What? Why? Why would you want that?
Why do you think I'm stuck for the rest of my life working for a man who treats me like an animal?
I know things are hard for you right now. They're hard for all of us. We're all in this together, Ulpius. Please just think this through. If you do this, it could be the sin that seals all of our fates. Is that what you want?
I'm sorry, but I just don't care anymore.
Please, Ulpius. Help him. If he goes through with it, it could be the end for us all. I don't know what to do. I've never had to deal with this sort of thing. Please, you need to talk to him. I don't know, but it's a crime for slaves to take their own lives. And a debt bondsman isn't far off. Thank you. And please, choose your words carefully.
Let me guess. You're going to lecture me on how suicide is a crime against the Empire. I screwed up my life. That's what's wrong. I borrowed money, and when I couldn't pay it back, I wound up in debt bondage. I'll be stuck slaving away for that Culus Cumulatis Malleolus for the rest of my life. I am out. Wherever you are, Scintilla, my love, I'm sorry.
Ulpius, no! I can't believe he went through with it. Oh Lord, that poor lamb. Well, I suppose it means suicide isn't a sin under the Golden Rule. So I guess that means whichever god is responsible for it, it isn't mine. That was not your fault. There's no way you could have given him what he wanted, moments after you arrived.
Claro, la pregunta estúpida.
I'll have to let everyone know what happened. And I guess Malleolus will have to clean up the mess in his villa. It's of his own making, after all. And I'd best pray for poor Ulpius.
Pobre Ulpio. cago en la mar. La sacerdotisa, ya lo sé. No es por aquí, yo quiero ir, pero aquí tampoco. Ahora no sé por dónde pollas. Ah, bueno, ya me acuerdo, claro. Soy mongolo. Aquí.
Thank you. Thank you. I am delighted and deeply honored to have been... Did you just leap into my villa from the balcony 100 feet above?
Sí, señor.
That was either extremely reckless or impressively clever. Well, why have you risked life and limb to see me? Of course not. But as I always say, if Sentius can't protect his daughter, how can we trust him to protect this city?
¿Y eso qué tiene que ver con lo que puto te he preguntado, cabrón? Eso... ¿Qué es eso? ¿Qué es lo que no me estás contando? A ver.
Look, if you're trying to find her, you may wish to check the cisterns beneath this villa. Domitius says he saw a body there some weeks back. Of course, just to be clear, I take no responsibility for what happens to you down there. I trust you can see yourself out.
Vale, bueno, entonces voy a hablar con la señora. No, es que la llave ya la cogí antes, ¿no? Pero bueno, me la llevo. Es gratis. Luego ya la venderé.
Elected your magistrate.
¿Quién está llorando aquí? Me cago en la hostia.
I'm not supposed to be in here.
Tengo que ser cuidadoso porque antes la cagué.
Talk. What business could you possibly have with me? I think a better question is, why am I being interrogated by a stranger who just barged into my villa? I have quite enough marriage trouble already, without having to explain to my husband why I am receiving strange men in private.
Ajá. Ay. Creo que... Al parecer hay unos mensajes, tío, que ponen ahí, no sé lo que es historia, no lo memoricé, pero... No sé. Mierda.
Preferably the way you came in, by which I mean, please leave. I think it's about to be broken if you don't. The dainty little thing from next door. An intrigue.
Esta es la pregunta.
You know, some time ago when he still
Vale.
cared. Now, I confronted him about it, and I let it go eventually, but
¿Qué me ayudas? Esta se va a enfadar también. Muy ridícula.
look, if you're not prepared to reveal your motives, I can't help you. Oh, aren't you charming? I'm quite sure my
Ah, pues
husband
mira,
would
esta se le gustó.
seethe with impotent rage if he overheard you say that. I love it. It seems our interests are aligned. Imagine knowing his true
Mira tú.
identity will give me the leverage I need to manage him appropriately. But first, I need you to do something for me.
A ver, ¿qué quiere que haga?
I want you to bring me some wine.
Oh, ya tengo vino.
Just one small urn should
Tengo
do
dos
it.
o más.
Oh, don't look at me like that. I know this must be hard for you to wrap your sweet little pleb head around. So what do you need me to spell out? Let me tell you something about Malleolus. He talks a lot about freedom, but what he doesn't tell you is that he means freedom for men. After all I've done for him, counselling him through his entire election campaign, and he had the audacity to lock me in here. He said it was for my own good, and that my drinking was unbecoming of a lady, let alone the wife of a magistrate. I'll show him unbecoming. Tonight, at his victory party, I'm going to get good and merry, and if he tries to discipline me again, I'll threaten to expose his true identity in front of everyone. I am so looking forward to it. You mean, aside from the fact that I'm locked in this room, and Domitius is because there's barely any left in the city. So you...
Toma, vino.
Thank you. Here's the letter.
Lo que sí está de puta madre, eso. Eso de cuando te va a coger algo de la mano, ¿te va a dar algo? Ah.
Now, perhaps you can tell me who Quinctius really is. What? He's... Oh no, that's... quite a lot more serious than I imagined. I only wanted some leverage over him, not to destroy him. Give me that immediately. Nobody else must know. What? No. You... It was a lie of a mission. You were planning this all along and you deliberately concealed it. May Jupiter cut you down. I curse you.
Cállate, hombre.
I curse your life and mind and memory. May you be unable to walk or eat or drink. May this drag you to the depths. This is outrageous.
Calla, hombre, calla, que no fue para tanto, hombre. Uy, 2000 y pico de denarios tiene aquí, Pues... No sé si robárselo y pirarme. Pero aquí el dinero no me sirve de nada, en verdad. Porque todavía no vi ninguna tienda para comprar nada. Paso. Y creo que ya tengo más de... Uy, tengo 4000 ya, si soy un Pikachu. Híjole. Vale. Ah. Ah. Qué cuco, chaval. Muy cuco, mira, y por aquí podemos bajar a la casa de esta, nos matamos. ¿Qué os parece? Pero vamos a ver, yo creo que está muy alto, Pero podemos probar, no pasa nada. Bueno. Bueno. Hola, moza.
Ugh, I wish Horatius would stop letting barbarians in here. What do you want?
Soy tu hermana.
Oh, you heard about her disappearance, I take it.
Creo que llegó la cena, Bueno, llego a la cena, voy a hacer la conversación con esta buena señora.
Oh, really? That commoner in debt bondage next door thought he could win over a magistrate's daughter. That's awfully bold of him. I can see why she worked so hard to keep it a secret. Quick, go and find him and Oh, I see. Well, it was worth a try, I suppose. Just promise me you won't give up on her. Thank you.
De nada, moza, de nada. Voy a hacer otra cosa. Voy a guardar. Voy a enfrentarme a esto.
We're finally alone. I assume you already know who
Yeah.
I am. May I know your name?
Acá.
We have? Wait, I must have entrusted you. Is that about? Seems rather brash, but I think it's best. You mean to ask, why am I unwilling to trust a newly arrived non-citizen with access to... I'm sorry, but that is... And I'm beginning to wonder if the culprit we're looking for... I doubt that very much, since I'll be keeping the key around. You mean, perhaps? Look, I could... It was... Hey, the man... I will... Ask that. Good. Now... Thank you. I'll...
Nah, no te deja todavía enfrentarte a ello.
Oi! How did you get in there, you cheeky little stirkus? If I cop an earful from Malleolus, I'll be coming for you. What now? She's not here. Had to carry her to Lucretia's clinic this morning. Whatever.
Vale, pues nada, aquí lo dejo, señor. Andrés te esconde. Bueno, además ya llevo otras. La verdad que he visto juegos. Pues última información. Y el bucle. Hala, venga. Vale. Chao, chao.